Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, welcome to our class today. So yesterday we did introduce on how to account for job costing. Okay, and we said don't forget in the case of a job costing, the only difference with conventional product costing is that the job is going to be done within what the customer is specifying. So as we produce the units, we produce them based on the requirements of the customer. Okay, therefore this is what we call sort of some special requirement that the customer wants the product to be like. Okay, would imply therefore it is a customer who instigates, therefore maybe the material we'll be using, the extent of the labor you're going to be using in this job. Okay, so but for the job costing, don't forget it's going to be as we charge a customer, you're going to be informing the customer as per the job you gave us. This is the cost that we have incurred so far on the job. Okay, so it's going to be job on its own cost. Okay, it's not like the case of mass production where the cost per unit, the cost per product is the total cost incurred divided by the number of units. Okay, like we're going to be discussing in the next part, which is batch costing. Okay, job costing is going to be one product going to be unique for that particular customer. Therefore, the costing therefore will be unique for that particular customer. Okay, like we saw yesterday in some of those jobs that we did prepare together. Okay. So today I want us to therefore we discuss on batch costing. I want us to discuss on batch costing. Okay. Okay. So I want us to discuss on batch costing today. Okay. And batch costing, it is still like sort of a specific order, which maybe it is a customer who want to make the requisition from a company. But more often than not, it will be the company mass producing for the market. Okay. And at the end of the day, okay, the market is going to be, or the cost per item, okay, the cost per item, or for the cost we shall be incurring will be the total cost you incurred so far in producing those mass products. Okay, we divide therefore by the number of units that we have been able to manufacture. Okay, if for example, okay, Unilever, okay, you don't make Omo for one customer. Okay, you must produce them. Okay, you can have, for example, you said that today we are going to, okay, the ingredients, whatever you mix. Okay, so you mix. Okay, maybe you can use 100 kgs of raw material, okay, plus labor. Okay, so you incorporate all these materials when it comes to getting the final commodity, when it comes to getting the final product. Okay, so incorporate all these together. Okay, then at the end of the day, okay, you're going to be selling, for example, okay, this Omo, for example, okay, based on how many kgs have we produced by the end of the process, by the end of the output. Okay, we did the cost you incurred so far is, let's say, $10,000. Okay, how many kgs have we produced? Okay, we have produced, let's say, 100,000 kgs of this particular product. There was the cost per kg. Okay, the cost per kg of what we shall be selling to the customer. There will be the cost of what you incurred so far, of course, plus the profit you're going to be putting. We divide therefore by the number of units that have been produced by the end of the process. We divide therefore by the output. Okay. That's therefore you're going to be getting the cost of the commodity. It's just like the case of job costing. Don't forget, for job costing, it was one item. Okay, it was like a single items we are producing. Okay, construction of a road is one single item. In this case, you're producing many items. Okay, it's not like one item you're producing per time. No, it is many items that the company is going to be producing by the end of the process. Okay, by the end of the process, there'll be many items that the company will be producing. Therefore, the cost per item, as I mentioned, is the cost, the entire cost incurred so far for the entire production cycle. Okay, raw material, any direct expenses incurred so far. Okay, any labor incurred so far that was used along the way, okay, any production overhead costs incurred so far. So you add the same way you've been doing, okay, the same way you've been preparing the cost card, okay, the same way you prepare also the cost for the case of the batch, okay. Direct material, direct labor, okay, to give us the prime cost, okay, production overhead to give therefore total production cost. In case there's any non-production overhead that need to be taken into account, therefore we add the non-production overhead cost to give us the total product cost, okay. Once you have the total production cost, we divide therefore by the number of units produced by the end of that particular production process, okay, to get the cost per item, okay. As I mentioned, this is not one item you're producing. Okay, there are many items you're producing for mostly either for the customer, okay, or you're producing for the mass market. Okay. So batch cost is a form of specific order cost in which the costs are attributed to the batch of products, many products. Okay. Batch cost is similar to job costing in that each batch of similar articles is separately identifiable. Okay, so don't forget. Okay, at the end of the production process, okay, we're going to name this particular batch. This is batch number 102. Okay, this is what we've incurred so far. The same way we did the case of job costing. This was job job XYZ. Okay, these are the costs we incurred so far for this particular job. Okay, the only distinction between the batch costing and job costing, job is going to be one item, batch is going to be the items that you're producing. Okay, many items which will be unique. Okay, which will be similar. Okay, the items produced within that particular batch is similar. Okay, in terms of the quality, in terms of all the features, they can be the same. Okay, you're producing cement, you're producing Omo. Okay, all the Omo produced by the production process are the same. Okay, but each batch is going to be different. Each batch is going to be distinct from each other. Okay, and that's why the company, and therefore they do label that, hey, this particular product was produced under batch number XYZ. Okay, just in case in the future you don't want to go and try to evaluate. Okay, if there was some problem in the production process, okay, you go and tell what was the maybe the mix in production mix that we used in making this particular item under this particular batch and number. Okay. In many of the commodities you'll be getting within from the retailers, okay, they have what we call a batch number. Okay, the purpose of having a batch number, as I mentioned, is maybe for the sake of quality controls. Okay, because you want to in the future you can be able to track back, okay, and say when we are producing this Omo, okay, what do we use? Okay, who was the one in charge of the production that particular time? Okay, so you can be able to element of being accountability comes in here. Okay, the cost per item or the cost per unit produced under that particular batch, okay, manufactured in a batch is the total batch cost divided by the number of units that have been produced under that particular batch. Okay, I think I'll mention that. Okay, the same way prepare, the same way you do prepare the cost card. Okay, with the same way that you're going to be preparing also the cost of the batch. Okay, material, labor to give us the prime cost. Okay, production overhead cost to give us the total production cost. Okay, then we add the non-production overhead cost. Okay, to give us the total product cost. Okay, and then once you have the total product cost, we divide by the number of items produced by the end of the process to give therefore the cost per item within the batch. Okay, clear? Emmanuel, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Mavid, is it clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, great. Let's apply then what you have just learned in an example. Okay, so go through this example. Where is this? Yeah, through this example, then we attempt to do it together. Go through this, then we attempt to do it together. If anything, attempt it first, actually. Try to make the attempt first, then we do it together. The same way we did the job costing, okay, where we did first identify the material cost, then the labor cost, okay, with the sum of those two give us the prime cost plus production overhead to give us the total production cost plus the non-production overhead to give us the total cost of the product. In this case, total cost of the batch, okay. So make the attempt first before we attempt to do it together.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting the answer as 72.08.
That is the cost for the batch or the cost per unit in the batch?
That is the cost per unit.
22 points?
72.08.
In 08. Okay, that is from Alexander. Jay, what do you have? Jay, what do you have? He's not in class. James, what do you have?
1448.
That is the cost per batch or the cost per item in the batch?
The cost per item in the batch.
So 1488.
48. No, 1448.
1448, the way it is there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Jay, you had an answer. Jay, you ran away again. Yvonne, what do you have? Yvonne, what do you have?
I'm not done.
Not yet. Okay. Hannah, what do you have?
I've not yet finished doing it.
Okay. Anne, what do you have?
So I'm confused. Yeah.
You're confused. Why are you confused? Vanessa, what do you
Still
have?
working out.
She's working on it. Okay, do it quickly. Vanessa, what do you have?
I'm still working on it.
Hey, okay. Whitney. Whitney.
Yes.
What do you have?
I'm stuck.
You're stuck. Okay. Vinny, what do you have?
So I'm also stuck.
Hey, what's happening today? Moses?
Yes, sir. I just joined the class. I'm still. I can't really see the question properly.
Can you see it now?
No, there's. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I can. Thank you. Give me a few.
Marvin, what do you have? Marvin?
I'm still doing.
Okay. This really is a question, you guys. Confirm what you've done. So let's attempt to do it together because we still have some few more to do. So let's attempt to do it together. Okay, let's attempt to do that question together. So this question will show that the company is producing cars, okay, and the number of cars it is producing, okay, from that particular production cycle, that particular batch, there are 250 model cars, okay. So the question is, what's the cost per unit within that particular batch, okay? The same way like we did yesterday. Okay, get the material cost, get the labor cost, get the prime cost. Okay, get the production overhead cost. Okay, get any non-production overhead cost to add them all together to get the total cost of the batch. Then once you have the batch cost, you divide by the number of items to get the cost per unit. Okay, so there's no complication here. Anyway, let's do it together. Okay, here we go. So just like the way we did yesterday, okay, and actually this is a question that we did yesterday. So we need to get the determine therefore material cost, we get the labor cost. Okay, if there's any production cost, we get the production any production cost that might be incurred. Therefore, that give therefore total production cost. Okay. In case there's any non-production cost, then we add the non-production cost like we did yesterday. So there's no any key distinction between what we did yesterday and today. Only the difference that here today we have a case where their units are in batch, not one single item. Okay. So let's begin by getting therefore the material cost. So the batch cost. You need to prepare therefore a cost card. Okay, so we can begin by getting material cost, direct material cost. Okay, given to us, we go to $12,000. Okay, then direct cost, labor cost, direct labor cost. In this case, there are two of them. We have welding. This is the cost for welding. The number of unit hours is 100, therefore to be 100 times 8 to give us therefore 800. Then you have assembly. Okay, which is equal to 200 hours. Then the cost per hour, which is equal to 9, to give us therefore 1800. Combined cost give us 2600. Okay. Then we'd also have the case of production. There's another cost I saw somewhere. Yes, the cost of hiring a special X-ray equipment for testing the welds are as follows. Okay, $500. Okay, there's a cost of hiring. Okay, you want to join welding. Okay, the company to hire a machine costing $500. Don't forget this is the direct expense cost. Therefore, direct expense cost for hiring this. Okay, let me just call it hiring cost. Okay, X-ray hiring cost, which is equal to 500. Okay, don't forget all these three are direct costs. Therefore, they give therefore the prime cost. Therefore, prime cost is how much? 15,100. Confirm.
$15,100.
Okay, you get therefore 15,100 to therefore be the cost. That will be the prime cost. Okay. Then you have production overhead cost. Production overhead cost, which we told to be equal to the company. The company manufactures model car and has the following budget overhead for the next 1 month. Okay, welding, assembly. We can begin therefore working for that. Okay, production overhead. So here we have production overhead. We have welding and we have assembly. For welding, the budget was to incur a cost of 6,000. Therefore, the overhead absorption rate is the cost 6,000. We've divided by the activity level, which in that case was 1,500. Therefore, the cost per hour, okay, as per the absorption rate per hour, okay, therefore is equal to $4. Okay, that's for welding. For the assembly, okay, being told that the budget is to incur 10,000. Okay, at an activity level of 1,000. Therefore, the cost per hour, therefore, will be equal to $10. Okay. Now the actual hours, okay, and the overhead absorbed onto the commodity. okay, is equal to, for welding, the rate per hour is $4. The amount of hour that was spent on welding was 100. If we multiply by 100, you get therefore $400. Okay, for the assembly, the amount of hours that was spent is 200 hours. Okay, and the rate of absorption is 10. If the cost, therefore, the overhead absorbed 8 into the commodity, and therefore equal 2,000. Therefore, total overhead absorbed, therefore is equal to 2,400. Clear? Question? Okay, no question. Therefore, coming back here.
So I have a question, sir.
Yes, ask.
So this is budgeted overheads.
Yes, this
and
is what the company plans to spend in the next maybe 1 month, I guess. Maybe yes. Yeah, 1 month actually.
okay. I had ignored them.
Mhm.
I had ignored those costs because they're
Yes.
budgeted and they're not actual.
Yes, they are budgeted, but you do incur production overhead costs. Don't you incur production overhead costs?
Yes.
You do incur it.
Yes.
So what was your plan on how to account for production overhead?
Yeah, I see. Now I see. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, because don't forget as there'll be prime cost. Remember the cost card, how the cost card appears. Okay, there's the prime cost, there'll be the total direct cost, okay, material, okay, labor and expense. Okay, so you get the prime cost plus production overhead plus non-production overhead. That's how the cost card appears. Okay, so you must have that here at the back of your mind. Okay, how the cost card appears. Okay, direct cost plus the production overhead plus the non-production overhead. So in case one of them is missing there, so you have to be quite careful. Okay, look at the question. Could there be that this costs have been hidden? Okay, well that may be the case. Okay? But don't forget the cost card will also be like that. The direct cost, the prime cost, okay, plus production overhead, plus the non-production overhead. So you must have all those costs, okay, in your cost card. Okay, therefore, from working, okay, we have obtained the production overhead to be equal to 2,400, therefore plus 2,400. Okay, that is from working down here. To get therefore the total production cost we got how much? The total production cost. What do you get? 2,500, I suppose. Okay, therefore the total production cost we got to 17,500. Then we have non-production costs, which I think we have been told the selling and distribution. Okay, and the main cost are 20% of production cost. Therefore, non-production cost is equal to 20%. Okay, 20% of 17,500, which is how much?
500.
Sorry?
3,500.
3,500. Okay, therefore, total product cost. Okay, you can call sale or product cost, not production, but product cost. Therefore, give 20,000, total to actually 21,000, 21,000. Give the cost of the batch, therefore, to be equal to batch cost. Let's call it batch cost to be equal, therefore, 21,000. Okay. Now you want to get the cost per unit within that batch. Okay. Therefore, okay, cost per unit, cost per car. In this case, I think they're cars. Yeah, the cost per car, therefore, will be equal to the total batch cost. Okay. Total. Okay, batch cost. We divide by the number of units. Okay, divide by the number of units. Okay, therefore, it will give us total cost is 21,000. Divide by number of units, which are 250. Give us how much?
84.
Exactly 84.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Therefore, you get a cost per item within the batch, therefore, to be equal to $84. Clear? don't forget the format of the course card. You must keep it at the back of your mind. Okay, once again, be applying it across. Okay, I think we have been applying it all along. Okay, so don't forget you need to have it because to be tested. That one is for sure. Okay. Question? Okay, if there's no question, then that's good, because that's simple. That's how we do batch costing. Simple as that. Okay, the next bit, okay, if it is batch costing is clear. Okay, batch costing is similar, just like job costing. There's no difference. Okay, there's a difference, but as per se, when it comes to getting the total cost of the job and the total cost of the batch, they're the same. Okay, the only difference that now, when it comes to batch costing, we have several items we are producing. So therefore, to get the cost per item, you divide therefore total batch cost. We divide by the items or the output. In this case, therefore, the number of cars being produced. And that is it. There's no difference at all. Okay, therefore that's marks there for the end of batch costing. The next part is on process costing. Okay, the next is process costing. Okay, process costing, which of course I don't want to start right now. Okay, we shall start it at the next class. In the meantime, okay, we do our usual RATs. Okay, the idea, don't forget, of us doing this RAT frequently, okay, because that's how the exam will be, okay, is for you to be able to check on the areas where you may have not understood well, okay, and if you get less than 70% of the marks provided in that particular RAT, then that means therefore you need to go back. It doesn't mean that in case you get above 70% that you are doing very well, no, okay, but it's for you to prepare, okay, the idea of doing this RAT, okay, and as I mentioned, every class prepare for a RAT, okay, every class you prepare for a RAT, okay, so the idea is to help you to do the revision, okay, so that by the time you do the exam, okay, you're quite polished, okay, for it, okay. So fair enough, having said that, so let's go to our e-learning.